Hello, everyone. My name is Makgato from the Agricultural Research Council. I'm going to share with you the talk, which is titled The Impact of Diffusing Low-Cost Climate-Smart Agricultural Practices on Communities when Establishing School-Based Vegetable Gardens. I'd like to acknowledge the Northwest Department of Agriculture and Rural Development for allowing us this opportunity to come and share with you the work that we are doing at our campus. Just to give you a brief background, this is the Water Research Commission project. It has been funded by the Water Research Commission, and it was based in two primary schools, Mamelodi in Mamelodi East, that's in east of Pretoria, and the name of the schools are Mahlasedi Masana and Buladokgoro Primary Schools. The project is about school nutrition garden project, which is also known as a school-based vegetable gardens. So in this project, we had two master students. The other one was doing the social aspect of the study, and the other one was doing the irrigation aspect. We also involved community members in this project in each school. The school garden nutrition project are recognized as a promising approach that supplement government school feeding program and well-being of children at lower primary levels. These are innovative teaching tools and strategy that incorporate hands-on activities into the classroom-based lesson. So the extent to which school garden programs are successfully implemented, they play a critical role in the rate at which poverty and widespread malnutrition can be reduced in communities. There are concerns about climate change. Rather, concerns about climate change are global and they are real. The communities are trying to get adapted to the challenges of their local climate and are currently sensitive to its variations. This is to say there is reduced arable land for agriculture due to increased soil erosion and leaching of nutrients. According to the report by the World Bank on climate-smart agriculture, there's a growing global population and changing diets that are dividing up the demand, that are driving up the demand for food. On the other hand, production is struggling to keep up as crop yield level off in many parts of the world, and the natural resources, including soil and water, are stretched. This has therefore led to adaptation and adoption of new strategies, as well as implementation of low-cost climate-smart agricultural practices, such as the in-field, as well as the in-situ rainwater harvesting and conservation techniques to optimize crop production. Several schools nutrition program and school food garden projects have been introduced and implemented across various provinces in South Africa. This was done so to improve learners' performance by providing nutritional meals through cultivation of vegetable gardens. However, there's still limited information or studies that have been conducted that are made available that review the impact of diffusing low-cost climate-smart agricultural technologies, as well as the challenges faced when establishing such projects in communities. The aim of the study was incorporation of climate-smart agricultural technologies into the school-based vegetable garden project to assess the impact of the yield of Swiss chard, kale, and sweet potato that are supplied to the school kitchen to feed learners, as well as reviewing some of the challenges encountered in establishing the successful school nutrition garden project. Coming to the materials and method, a formal training was provided to the communities, the volunteered communities that were helping us in these two gardens. As mentioned, the project was established, the study was conducted in two primary schools, Buladokgoro and Mahlasedi Masana primary schools respectively, and that was in the 2018-2019 season. We installed gutters over the rooftop, and the length of the schools were 33 meter by 11. The size of the school was 33 meter in length and the width was 11 meter. We connected 4 JoJo tanks, and then the capacity was about 45,000 liters. That was done to increase water supply. And to increase water supply to the cropping area, in-field water catchment were constructed. This was done, the in-situ was done for Swiss chard and kale, and then for sweet potato, we did, the in-situ water catchment was done for sweet potato, and the in-field water catchments were done for Swiss chard and kale. We also did mulching was also used to cover the cropping area. And we introduced the vertical production system, which is known as the bag system, which was tested for production of leafy vegetables. Coming into the results will be in two parts. So the first part it involves when we were to establish this community, this school garden project. It is obvious and common that running a school garden project does not only require horticultural knowledge, but common sense, enthusiasm, organizational capacity, as well as ability to mobilize the community. Gathering everyone in the community to come and sit together to reach one common goal is a challenge on its own. You have to win the heart of the community. There are always community unrest. There will be protesting for things like service delivery, which has always been the case with us. We were unable to reach our projects because of that. So before we could establish the project has been hard. There are always feud and conflict among community members. There will be biasness. This in terms of the SGB members versus project beneficiaries. There will be conflict among beneficiaries. When they are hired, they'll start fighting among themselves. One of the challenges that struck me was myself and the team was youth and agriculture versus pensioners. In our community, in our townships, especially Mamelodi, what we observed is that the youth are not interested in agriculture. So we employed only the pensioners. Most of the people that we were employed in this or were volunteered in this project were the pensioners. So also expect time and resources for training. And last but not least, theft. As soon as you start to produce vegetables, people will come and they will just feed without your consent. So coming to the second part, which was after we have established our project, we realized that the rooftop rainwater harvesting technique was very effective and exceeded the water storage capacity available during the 2018-2019 rainy season. The runoff collection was recorded. Runoff collection efficiency was recorded at about 72%. When it comes to the in-situ and the in-field, plant available water was improved. The harvested produce increased when compared to the conventional flat cultivation system. This will follow in the table that is coming on the next slide. Also, the dry matter yield for Swiss chard and kale harvest recorded high compared to traditional production system used. The application of mulching also as a soil water conservation showed significant soil structure improvement, which led to improved vegetable production. On this table, we had about 6 different techniques where we had the in-situ plus the mulching, the in-situ without mulching, in-field plus mulching, in-field without mulching, flat cultivation plus mulching, flat cultivation without the mulching. If you look where we had the in-field and mulching technique, during harvest 1 for Swiss chard and during harvest 2, if you compare it to other techniques, we had higher fresh harvestable yield as compared to other techniques. So if you can check the flat cultivation without mulching, that's where we had the lowest harvest as compared to any other techniques. And where we introduced mulching on the flat cultivation, the harvest was improved because it increased from about 1.2 on the first harvest to about 2.0 tons per hectare. So when it comes to the 2 schools, I'd like to bring your attention onto the bag system, comparing to other techniques when we were collecting the parameters. If you check under the bag system in Buladukhoro, the first school, if you compare the bag system with the field rainwater harvest or any of either the conventional irrigated or dry land, you will realize that when it comes to Swiss chart, fresh harvestable yield, we had higher fresh harvestable yield as compared to any other technique. And when it comes to the number of learners that were fed in this under bag system, is higher than those that were fed under conventional dry land. And also, the total fresh harvestable yield required was 79 kilograms and 114 in Buladukhoro and Mahlasedi Masana primary schools, respectively. One other thing that I'd like to bring your attention on is on the total land or area required in garden in square meters. Under the bag system in Buladukhoro, to obtain that 52 kilogram, we only used about 18 square meter area as compared to field rainwater harvest, where we had 70.9 square meter and the fresh harvestable yield was 13, was lower than that of the bag system. In conclusion, school garden project budget often they exclude wages or salaries, and hence several problems arise in establishment. One way to keep the beneficiaries motivated is provision of pre-accredited training courses and workshops. Like we did, we offered them the Agrisator training course on vegetable production and land preparation. Provision of inputs such as seeds, garden tools, fertilizers, protective clothing is also necessary. And when harvested, when enough is harvested, the beneficiary can always take home and sell to the community so that they will make income. And then for sustainability. The low-cost techniques such as the in-field and the in-situ rainwater harvesting techniques can be adopted and taught to learners and communities to promote vegetable crop production. The vertical bag system also showed a promising potential for increased crop production with reduced utilization of arable land. Implementation of climate-smart production technologies offer great potential to ensure adequate vegetable production in school garden and may be adopted as adaptation strategies to climate change, especially in dry areas. This comes in handy as it reduces the use of municipal water for irrigation, which is scarce and costly, thus contributing to water resource conservation and reduced school bills. These are some of the highlights. We came up with innovation of designing our tank stands. This is how it was designed using the round-treated black pole, which were left unused. And then we engaged the community where we provided training. So these are some of the produce from the garden, harvesting, weighing, and into the kitchen. We provided as protective clothing to our garden members. These were the references that were used. I would like to acknowledge Water Research Commission, ARC VOP, Mamelodi Primary Schools, and the community. Thank you.